Hi everyone, it's me, Melanie, your IVF nurse, and today's post is actually a request that I had from a YouTube subscriber that had watched my video on a day in the life of an IVF nurse, and she was actually reaching out to ask me about questions that would be asked in the interview process. So if you're a nurse and you think that you'd be interested in working in fertility, then she was specifically asking what questions would they prepare for, or would she prepare for during her interview. Now, with the whole interview process, human resources is always going to ask you the general stuff in terms of salary expectations, vacations, benefits, all of that would be offered to you at the time of accepting your position and then within your probationary period, and that would all be outlined through human resources. But specifically when you're speaking with either, say, the nurse coordinators or the nurse manager or the team lead, depending on the clinic you are applying for, they may have various people sitting in on this interview that will ask you different questions. A lot of the times they're asking your thoughts on how you feel about two men that want to have a family. They may ask you what your thoughts are on two women wanting to have a family. Now, these are specific to, say, third party, where there would be the use of an egg donor or possibly a sperm donor, plus or minus a surrogate. So they would be asking you questions related to that. I get a lot of those questions on your thoughts, possibly feelings of working with patients that are trying to expand their family or have one child or however many children they want. And it may not be the nuclear family, so it will look a little bit differently, but that, as we know, is becoming the new norm. Families are coming in all shapes, sizes, genders, everything. So you do want to keep an open mind to these interview questions, and you do want to prepare and really think about what they're going to ask you. If you're thinking that it may be uncomfortable for you to work with a lesbian couple or a gay male couple to help them have their family, then maybe this is not the job for you, because you do need to be very open to it and accepting and supporting. Choosing to do this is a very exciting time, expensive time, emotional time for anyone choosing to move forward with having a family. Some clinics, they primarily do heterosexual couples, so maybe they don't do as much third party. And they may ask you questions such as if you were to suspect spousal abuse, whether it's from her end, his end, and how you would react and the necessary steps that you would to handle that situation if, say, a patient confided in you about what was going on at home. Now, a lot of the times when you're meeting with patients, you will develop a rapport, not with every patient, but you will develop a rapport with some patients, and the things that they will tell you is interesting and could be shocking. I've heard many things over the years, so nothing shocks me or whatever, but it's all interesting. And as a new nurse, you need to be aware of some of the things that patients will confide in you, because they may be seeing a counselor, they may not have been in touch with a counselor, and they may have seen the doctor, but there is that uncertainty that they have, that they don't think that they could talk to the doctor about certain things, so they end up developing closer relationships with nursing staff. And what happens is that you need to be prepared. So the questions that you would be asked would be some of the things that have been seen or that nurses in the clinic have been witness to, and they're going to be picking your brain to see how you would respond in certain situations. So as I mentioned, if you suspect or if a patient should confide that her partner is abusing her, what would you do? A lot of the times it's basic questions such as, what are your thoughts on helping a male couple try to have their family? What are your thoughts on having, say you have a lesbian couple, and what are your thoughts on them using, say, the eggs from one woman, using the sperm from the other woman's brother, so that there's the genetic connection or relation to each of them, in creating those embryos. So there's different scenarios like that that they would ask you about. Same thing, we see it with gay men when they want to have that genetic connection. They may, if and they're with their partner, they may choose to have an egg donor that is one of their sisters. They do not use their own sperm, obviously, but their partner will provide the sperm sample so that there's that genetic relation as well. So those are the types of situations or questions that they're going to be asking or targeting towards. So you want to be kind of thinking of every scenario. Same thing. We are seeing more so in clinics nowadays, many transgendered patients that before they take that final step, that they're wanting to either freeze sperm, freeze eggs, or actually experience a pregnancy before they make that final decision. So sometimes they'll have to be stopping their meds, and hopefully there hasn't been too much of what's happened in that transition where they will be successful and be able to either freeze sperm or eggs depending on what the transition is from, or if they're wanting to experience a pregnancy prior to transitioning from female to male, then you want to be open to those ideas as well, because you are going to come across clients as such. I had mentioned the family dynamics are changing, and how families are being created are changing very quickly, and everyone is entitled to have their children and parent and be in loving relationships. And as nurses, we are not here to judge. So that is one of the things that's very important, is that you don't want to come across as judgmental if you're really, really interested in working in fertility, because as I had said, there are a lot of things that you may have patients confide in you about that will be shocking, possibly. You will hear things, you will hear stories. You may, a patient may confide in you and say, oh, a friend of a friend, this happened, and, many, many different things, just looking for your feedback. So in that interview process, you want to kind of think and plan for every possible scenario that you could face in your employment. Now, a lot of the times we know as managers or people that are looking to hire new nurses that it is a learn as you go process. So you're not expected to know every answer, but being honest, and there are lots of educational opportunities when you're working in this field. So taking that opportunity to sit in on any kind of educational lunch and learn, webinars, attending conferences, all of those things are great for your professional and personal development when working in this field. I hope you found this information very helpful. Please feel free to check out my website, www.yourivfnurse.com. You can continue to send me your email questions at yourivfnurse@gmail.com. You can find me at Instagram at yourivfnurse. You can subscribe to my channel or comment down below. Thanks for watching.